But we'll move on to a team that, maybe a lot of people thought was going to struggle this year, but has looked like one of the best offenses in the NFL, is looking like a scary team, and they're facing a wounded and weary Lions team coming off a loss at home. It's the Lions in Phoenix, or in Glendale, I think. I've been to this stadium. I was at Alabama Clemson.
I think it's Glendale.
But it's maybe Glendale. It's all spread out there. In the desert, they're going to the desert to face the Cardinals. And I think this game it's hard to predict because that offense looks so explosive with Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, James Conner. Like, that offense is legit in Arizona. And we've seen it 2 weeks in a row against two opponents. The Rams are looking rough now, but the Bills were a very legit opponent to go up and score on week one. Obviously, it didn't work out in the end, but they kept it going in week two against the Rams. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray look like they could be one of the best connections in the NFL off the get-go. And this is just it's kind of reminding me of Eagles versus going to New Orleans to face the Saints. I think Alexa just thought I was talking to her. But it reminds me of the Eagles going to New Orleans to face the Saints, because this was probably a game that a lot of Lions fans were like, oh, we'll go to Arizona. That'll be an easy win. That'll be an easy one to put up. At this point, I think I'm going to take the Cardinals to win this game, just based on how good they looked on offense last week, the fact that they're playing on home, and just the fact that the Lions have kind of struggled through these first 2 weeks. They had a mutual opponent in the Rams, and I know it's not rock, paper, scissors, but the Cardinals handled them. So, the fact that the Cardinals are at home in this game, the Lions have struggled mightily in these first two games. It has not been the dominance and the offensive explosion that we've expected. They have a lot of questions. There are fans that are pissed at Ben Johnson, which I was not expected, that are, seriously questioning his acumen as an offensive coordinator. So things are looking ugly in Detroit, and this is just the last team that they want to be going to face on the road at this point. So, with the momentum that they've got, I'm going to go with the Cardinals in this one to beat the Lions.
Yeah. I'm also going to take the underdogs here. So Arizona, they're given 3 points plus 3 underdogs. I'm going to take Arizona as well. My issue with Detroit, why I had them third in their division to start the year, was because I thought they had some questions in the secondary. You're relying on 2 rookies in Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold to play a lot of reps. I don't know how sustainable that is in 2024 to play rookies that many snaps.
In the secondary too.
Right.
When you're a competitive team.
Right. And with the connection that Marvin and Kyler seem to already have, Kyler seems to have great connection with Trey McBride and Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch as well. A great offensive line that I don't think a lot of people have talked about. We've talked about that center a little bit. Froholt, he got extended earlier this year. He's been phenomenal. Paris Johnson looks great. I think Jonah Williams might miss the game, but ultimately the offense is really overpowering. And I don't think Detroit, as well as Aiden Hutchinson has played, he's been the best rusher in football to date. I don't think they have enough in the secondary to keep up with Arizona. And I think offensively is where the big concern is for Detroit, because for some reason, again, I think they're kind of depending on the pass a little too much. I would love to see Jahmyr Gibbs get more carries. Montgomery's getting a lot of carries. He's been really well. He's been playing really well so far, but I would like to see if they stick to the run more as opposed to pass. And Jared Goff, I think he is kind of hearing footsteps a little bit right now. He's being a little, I wouldn't say scared, but he's being a little shaken by edge blitzes. That's one thing that Arizona has done pretty well with their edge rushers. Gardick and their linebacker Wilson have done a good job blitzing the quarterback this year. I'd look out for Gardick to have a couple of sacks in this game. And if Jared Goff has to rely on the pass a lot, I expect him to make a lot of mistakes this week.
Well, that's just it. I mean, and you talk about Aiden Hutchinson and how he's been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. That is a valuable weapon to have, but Kyler Murray is also one of the most difficult guys to catch in the NFL. Yeah. And when you talk about relying on your pass rush to cover up what may be a young and inexperienced and exploitable secondary, and you have a quarterback that has made a career out of scrambling and keeping his eyes downfield to pick apart, secondaries that are maybe have been pressured for too long, or, you give enough time and these guys are going to get open, especially when you're talking about Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Dortch. They've got legit players on that team. So this is just looking like a sneaky bad matchup for the Lions. Once again, probably one that they thought that they were going to win easily if you had asked them before the season. It just goes to show that, it's very hard to have a cakewalk week in the NFL and you don't know how good these teams are going to be. But Kyler Murray is looking like a top 10 quarterback again in the NFL. And so it's dangerous for any given team that thinks that, before the season, the Cardinals are going to be an easy win. But I do expect that defense to improve steadily with Jonathan Gannon as the head coach too. I think that it bodes well for them that they're going to have. They've got a young defense that I think is building, and Budda Baker is a great leader for them too. So So I think that they're in a good spot as an organization. I think that we'll see. They're a bad matchup for the Lions this week, especially on the road. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win that one.